Hey, FPI Management, Pastor Jonathan here. Excited to be with you for the February word of encouragement. And this month, I want to continue on from last month, where in January we were looking at what does it take? What does it look like for us to actually experience change and transformation in our life? And this month I want to move forward and I want to talk about part of that transformation and part of what we want to bring with us into a new year and some things that we want to leave behind us in the old year or the past year is this idea of happiness, the practice of happiness, the practice of joy. And I really believe this, right? If you have true, deep contentment in your life, if you're experiencing joy on the deepest level that can't be shaken by any of your external circumstances, that's going to change everything. It's going to change how you experience people. It's going to change how you experience work. It's going to change how you experience relationships and time and money and all the real things of your life. Happiness changes everything. Joy changes everything. And yet for many of us, if we're honest, if we had to honestly ask ourselves the question, am I happy? Am I content? Do I experience joy on a regular basis? And not just circumstantial happiness or circumstantial joy, but deep, abiding joy. Even when I go through seasons of sorrow or hardship, there's something inside me that is happy, content, joyous. It's a question we're looking at today. And friend, as there are things that we need to leave behind, as we all know there are self-destructive habits and things that we need to leave in last year, and there's some good things we need to bring forward with us, one of the things that I think actually keeps us from experiencing a life of joy that God designed you to have, that God designed for you to live within, is excuses. Excuses are one of those things that we need to leave in the past. Excuse me. Excuses are one of those things that are like paper walls. You know, from a distance, a paper wall might look like a real obstacle. It might look like a brick wall, but when you get closer to it, you realize, oh, there's nothing really here. I can just press right through this. And oftentimes our excuses, they masquerade as paper walls. They masquerade as reasons why we can't change or why we can't experience the joy and the happiness that we were made to have. You know, I think about it, oftentimes our excuses, they show up in this word, because, right? A friend may ask you, hey, why don't you? Well, because. Why haven't you? Well, because. Well, why don't you just forgive her? Well, because, right? Why don't you just let that go? Well, because. Why don't you just quit? Why don't you just start? Why did you leave? Why did this? Why did that? Because. We have all these becauses in our life, these paper walls, these excuses, these reasons that are holding us back from not just the life that we were intended to live, but the joy and the happiness we were designed to experience. Here's an amazing thought. There are competing narratives in the world for happiness. There are competing narratives out there in the world for what it looks like to live the good life. We all want to experience happiness. It's the motivation behind all that we do. And I think about this famous country song by Chris Jensen. It goes like this, maybe you've heard it. It says, I wish I had a rich uncle that would kick the bucket, and I was sitting on a pile like Warren Buffett. I know everybody says money can't buy happiness, but it could buy me a boat. It could buy me a truck to pull it. It could buy me a Yeti 110 iced down with some silver bullets. Yeah, and I know they say money can't buy everything. Well, maybe so, but it can buy me a boat. And you see, one of the narratives in our culture, in our world, that all of us are familiar with, is that happiness and joy is out there somewhere. It's in that boat. If I could just get that boat or that truck or that relationship, right? Or if I just made that much money. And we believe happiness is found in power, prestige, position in life, possessions. We look in these external things for validation and joy, and the problem is all of those things are temporary. And anybody who's ever achieved everything you could possibly want in life, when they get to the top of the mountain and they look down, they wonder to themselves, why does it still feel like something's missing? Why did all this stuff not make me happy? Why did it not lead to what I was hoping it would lead to? Well, it's because you were designed by God on purpose, with a purpose. And if we don't align our life with His design and follow His way, then we will continue holding on to these paper walls and these excuses, and we'll continue looking for joy and contentment in places that it will never be found. I want you to listen to the words of Jesus in John 15. He says this, if you follow my ways, this is Jesus, if you follow my example and my ways and my instructions, you'll abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's instructions and abide in His love. And then he says this, these things I've spoken to you, that my joy, my happiness, right, might be in you, and that your joy, your happiness might be full, complete, overflowing, right? Jesus says one chapter later in John 16, he says, yes, you experience sorrow now, but I will see you again. And then you'll rejoice, then you'll experience joy, and no one will be able to take that joy from you. No one will be able to take away the happiness that I give you. Now, here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. Maybe we think happiness is out there somewhere. Maybe we're looking for it in these paper walls of power, prestige, possessions, whatever it may be, position. And Jesus goes, I designed you for joy. I designed you for happiness. I even gave your body the biological ability to experience happiness. He put into our body chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, so that actually if we followed His way, we would experience the release in our bodies of joy and happiness. Check this out. This is amazing. Dopamine. It is released when your mind is actually buzzing with creativity and activity. When you're creating, when you're working, when you connect your work every day, no matter how mundane you may feel it is, when you connect it to a higher purpose of serving others, of doing something for something greater than yourself, of serving a greater cause, it actually releases dopamine into your body and you experience joy. God designed you that way. Think about this, endorphins, oxytocin. Endorphins are not just released as a runner's high, that's part of it. Exercise does make you feel happy. But the primary source of endorphins and oxytocin in our lives is through healthy, meaningful, trusting relationships. God said it Himself, you were not designed to be alone. And if you have healthy relationships with other people, authentic relationships which God designed you for and He wants you to live in, you'll experience happiness. It will release endorphins into your body. Serotonin, this is amazing. It's the chemical that's released through deep breathing, through the practice of gratitude, through a feeling of calm and contentment in your mind. And one of the primary ways that serotonin is released is through prayer. Have you ever tried taking your worries to God? Taking your sorrows to God, taking your pain to God, taking all the troubles of your life to God? It releases actual serotonin into your body, which produces calm and contentment and happiness. You see, friends, God designed you for joy. He designed you to experience happiness. He designed you to experience joy, but He designed you to do it in His way. Through coming to Him in prayer, through serving others, through connecting what you do in life with your work to a higher cause for a greater good. All of those things actually produce joy in our life, but the ultimate source of joy, and I'll close with this, the ultimate source of joy is knowing your Creator and knowing that He loves you. Hebrews 12 reminds us that for the joy set before Jesus, He endured the cross. You were the joy set before Jesus. God delights in you. He rejoices over you. He's not angry at you. He's not waiting for you to get your act together. Friends, the word of encouragement is this: God likes you. He doesn't just love you, He likes you. And when that lands on you, when you realize that, man, the Creator, your Creator, the Creator of the universe loves you, enjoys you, delights in you, that releases a happiness in your life. The practice of happiness, the experience of joy in your life that will not be shaken no matter what you're walking through. And yes, you will experience sorrow, you will experience hardship and pain in this life, but there will be a furnace of joy burning in your heart that will withstand every storm that is thrown your way. And I want that for you. I want you to experience that. I want you to let go of the excuses, the paper walls, all the things in your life that are standing between you and the joy that God created you for. And that joy is found not just in following the way of Jesus, through serving others, through coming to Him in prayer, but it's also in knowing the joy of the Father for your life. Friends, I hope that encourages you. I hope you guys have an amazing month. Excited to be with you again next month. You guys have an amazing week.